So customer raises an inquiry and an agent picks up the inquiry. An agent picks up the inquiry and answers the customer, right? Is this as simple as that?
Nope.
First problem that we face is that a customer can inquire through multiple channels, right? Customer has different channels to inquire through. It can inquire through chat, it can inquire through SMS, it can inquire through whatever, voice call, your voice call, and you remember calling your customer helpline and waiting for 5 minutes for some agent to answer. So yes, there are different ways to connect a chat, voice call, case. All this requires different processing. For example, you cannot make someone you cannot make a request which is coming through a voice call wait as long as the chat request or a case request, because a case request can be pending in a queue, right? So the first problem we face is the amount of channels that a request can come into. It could be coming into Facebook comment also, right? We do not know. So there are multiple channels through which a customer can raise a request, right? And if you think that that problem is enough, then wait, because there are something more. Then the second problem is a customer can raise many type of request. It could be a billing request about a product. It could be a technical request about a product. It could be anything related to the product question. I'm assuming that the client is selling a product to a customer, right? It could be it could be a complaint, it could be a login issue, it could be anything, right? So different channels, fine, that's one problem. But there are different kinds of requests, and it could be hundreds of kinds. So how do we know which kind of request is it, right? That is the second problem. And even if you solve the second problem, and let's say, hey, you solve the second problem, now you reach the queue, now we have a billing queue. The request is a billing request, so now we have reached a billing queue. But even in that billing queue, there are different kinds of agents. There is an agent who is a senior. There is an agent who has just joined the company and he's a junior. He doesn't know how to solve high priority cases. He doesn't know how to solve escalation cases, whatever is it. So he doesn't know. And then agent A knows it. So are you saying that any request that is reaching the billing queue would be assigned to any of these based on its availability? That would be absurd, because any request not just required skills by which we differentiate the queues, it also has severity of that request or problem, right? And different severe problem requires different agent, right? So we have multiple problems here, right? The channels, the different type of request, and once even if you solve that, there are different agents, right? So everything boils down to one question: how do we solve, or how do we process any incoming request from any channel about any kind of request or problem to the most suitable agent possible? That is the problem, and that's what is solved by uniform routing. And how do we solve it? Now let's see. The first thing we have encountered is different types of channel, right? A chat, a voice call, a case. Now a voice call needs to be assigned immediately, and a case may not need to. It may wait in a queue for long, right? So we understand that these are different channels, and different channel require different type of processing. So what first unified routing does is separate processing based on different types of channel, right? So now there is a chat inquiry, it is processed differently. A voice call inquiry it is processed differently. A case inquiry, it is processed differently, right? So there are mainly three types of work item, mainly three categories of work item which any client receives. Now a chat also includes any type of conversation. It also includes any type of conversation, not just chat. It could be through Facebook comments and whatever, right? So we understand that we have a different pipeline for processing different types of incoming query or problem that customer is facing, right? Because it all needs different function, and that pipeline is what we called as work stream. So that's how we solve the first problem, that there are different types of channel, right? By creating different types of work stream, we process different types of channel work item. By work item we mean work item is simply customer query, customer request, problem, whatever. It's simply that. Let's understand it in layman terms, right? And then we have divided work item into 3 categories, and our unified routing is processing all those 3 categories differently by creating work stream, right? Now let's zoom inside this work stream. How does it process the incoming work item? Now let's say someone has made a request. Someone just went to a chat of the website. Let's say that's Make My Trip, and you went to the chat widget and say, hey, I cannot log in, right? Do we have enough information right now at that moment? You would say like, yes, we have information. This guy cannot log in. So we just need some agent which can help him solve the login issue, Okay, that makes sense. But do we know the customer? Do we know, is it a VIP customer? Do we know the language, the reason? Because different agent also belongs to different region, right? Do we know the reason? Where does this request coming from? Not, right? That's why we do have enough information, but we do not have those information which would help us make our routing decision much better, because we cannot make our VIP agent wait as long as we are making our regular customer. There is a difference there. They are called VIP, not agent, VIP customer. There's a difference. That's why they are called VIP and regular, right? If you treat them differently, then what's the point, right? So we gathered that information through work classification, right? Work classification helps us gather that information, right? What does work classification do? Work classification adds attribute to the incoming work item. Let's say, okay, what kind of skill does it require? Okay, it requires a skill called password reset, or requires a skill called server down, whoever has that skill, or it requires a language. Maybe the incoming request is in French. What product information does it require? So work classification adds attributes to the incoming work item so that we can route that work item properly to the best possible agent. Because when we will be inside the queue, we will see that there are different kind of agent with different amount of expertise, right? So we need to understand more and more, right? We have to, for example, if it's a VIP customer, we will send it to our senior agent because he knows how to handle VIP customers, right? So work classification helps us understand more, helps us add attributes to the incoming work item, right? Now once it is done, we have enough information, right? Once it is done, we see customer says I cannot log in. That is a raw work item. We use work classification to enrich the work item, and once it is enriched, it has more attributes and information. It is ready to be sent into a queue, right? And that's where inside the workstream we also use route to queue. The route to queue sends up incoming work item to specific queue, billing queue, technical queue, etc., whatever. So now we have work item information. Oh, it's a billing request, it's a VIP customer. Oh, it should be sent in the important queue, like important support queue or senior support queue, right? So routing to queue is very easier now. We now know the information about the work item. But wait a second, that's not enough. Once it is inside the queue, we have to assign it to the best possible agent. Not every agent is capable to solve every kind of work, because every work is differentiated based on severity, right? Severity of the work. how important is it, how dangerous it is, how knowledgeable it is, right? So it could be, it could varies, right? So once inside the queue, a work item needs to be distributed among the different agents, right? And that is what done by work distribution. I'm sorry this is not visible properly, I can understand, but this is work distribution, right? Work distribution assigns the best possible agent inside that queue who is eligible to solve the specific customer request. So you can see that agent A is a senior specialist, agent B is a junior agent, agent C is a busy, agent D is available. So not just skill, also we have to see who is present, right? And if we summarize overall, it's very simple. Customer has an inquiry. That inquiry is enriched through work classification inside the work stream. Work classification adds more attributes, more information about incoming work item. Then route to queue, route to the best possible queue, right? It sees that it's a billing request, it routes to the billing queue. It sees it's a technical request, it's a route to the technical queue. It sees it's a VIP client with a billing request, so it says to the VIP billing queue, right? Now once inside the queue, the work distribution assigns the best possible agent who is working inside the queue, who is in the queue pool, right? And all of this is used by unified routing. Now I hope that it is clear from the business perspective what is unified routing doing. Now there are various very deep technicalities inside it that we'll discuss. First, it is important to have a mental model what we are doing, how we are doing, and then we can jump on to the technical aspect of unified routing.